You are listening to WTUZ Radio Podcast. This is Rhonda with WTUZ Radio Podcast. Ciao. Whew. I needed the break today from the live broadcast, but so much stuff jumping off that WTUZ Radio Podcast is putting out stuff a couple times a week. Facebook has officially changed its name to Meta. And once again, this is something that I done told you so that is coming. Regarding artificial intelligence, virtual reality, robotics, etc. So, let's go ahead and look at this article. Oh, here we go. Right? So this is from CNBC. Facebook changes company's name to Meta. Facebook on Thursday announced that it has changed its company name to Meta. The name change, which was announced at Facebook's Connect Augmented and Virtual Reality Conference, reflects the company's growing ambitions beyond social media. Those of you that rock with me, you know I've been telling you for years, and I apologize I can't find that article, where this man had claimed that Facebook was going to go away. Years ago, I told you all that. The man even predicted that Facebook was going to go under investigation for the way it was using its data. And he said Facebook is eventually going to go away. Okay, so here it looks like Facebook it's rebranding itself, and it's moving into VR, which is really virtual reality. So with them goggles, you gamers know what I'm talking about. Those of you in tech know what I'm talking about. I told you all virtual reality, machine learning, robotics, AI is coming. I told you. The rebranding also comes after the company has dealt with a barrage of news reports over past months stemming from whistleblower Frances Hagen's trove of internal documents. Okay, and I am so sorry I can't find that article that I saw 2 or 3 years ago. I have went back high and low to try to find it, and it has been scrubbed from the internet. All right, so let's play a little clip to see what the Facebook tech man says, and then we're going to come back for a little bit and talk about it.
Michelle, thank you so much for talking to us on the heels of Facebook's big announcements. You know, Zuckerberg just unveiled that new name of Meta, and on Monday, the company announced that it was going to be spending $10 billion on metaverse costs just this year alone. My first question for you is, when you think these investments in the metaverse are going to start paying off, at what point do you see Facebook Reality Labs and your work on the metaverse starting to yield revenue and profits?
Well, first, thanks for having me. And it's important to note these are very much long-term investments. We made it clear on the call this week that over the next couple of years, we're making some fundamental investments on the hardware side and the software side. And the metaverse vision for us is 5, 10, 15-year journey. So we expect while these investments are important and why we're calling them out, given they're significant, the return from a business perspective may still be a few years out. But it's important for us to get started on them now.
So a few years out, I mean, Zuckerberg said that you're going to be selling the VR headsets at cost. Are we talking about just in continuing to invest tens of billions of dollars a year for the next 10 years? Or is there a path to profitability in the next decade? Can you give us a sense of that timeline?
Well, it's hard to put a specific timeline against that. I think it's important to note one of the reasons we felt it important to call this out from a segment perspective is, for some time now, Facebook, now Meta, has been more than just the Facebook app. And people were confused about that name because the company name and the product name was the same. We've had obviously the family of apps for quite some time, and the ability to invest on the hardware side, whether it's in VR, AR, future platforms, is important to call out. So these are long-term investments, but our core business continues to be very important. I used to work on Instagram, and that's a very important investment that continues for us as a company while we build the platform for the future.
Yeah, and I want to get to your background and what you're bringing from that later. But first, how would you explain what the business model of this metaverse is going to be?
We teased a little bit of this at Connect today, and in some ways it's still very early to know exactly how it might evolve. Right now, how we're thinking about it is that in the next decade, we hope 1 billion people will be able to use the metaverse and transact with hundreds of billions of dollars worth of commerce, digital commerce. And there's an opportunity certainly there from a commerce perspective, but also for advertising. As creators build new worlds, businesses create objects, digital objects and services, the opportunity to make those known to others is something that will be powerful in and of itself. But it's early, and we're starting on this early. We're having the conversation broadly. And it's important to note that Facebook, now Meta, will not be building the metaverse alone. We are going to be partnering with other companies, talking about it more broadly with the ecosystem, because it's too big for any one company to build alone.
Vishal, it's Dom here. I wonder, you mentioned this notion that this meta transformation, the metaverse transformation of Facebook could be very much, it is very much in the initial stages. This could be a 5, 10, 15-year transition. I wonder if you could talk a little bit about what you think the employee base, both yourself and your peers and colleagues at Facebook/Meta, feel about the direction of this company in the coming months and years, given some of the things that have been happening in Washington, D.C. and elsewhere with regulators and politicians. Is there a sense right now that Meta is going to change over the next 5 to 10 years into a company that's far and distant away from what we know as Facebook today?
Well, I think it's important to note that we are very much taking our heritage with us into this future. The simple things like the logo has the Facebook blue in it. The font is the same as Facebook. We aren't running from our past. We're heading towards our future. And the Facebook product of Instagram, WhatsApp, Messenger remain incredibly important parts of our overall offering to consumers. We're just more than a social media company. We have been for some time, given our investments in hardware and in things like the metaverse. We are just making that much more explicit now. So we're taking the lessons we've learned certainly into the future, building this more in the open, talking about it now. But it's important to note we're not running from it. We are excited about this future we're building together.
Ciao. Okay, let me cancel that. So again, we're on CNBC. Facebook is changing its name to Meta. Let's read on some more. Now, those of us in tech, we know what Meta means. I'm going to go over that with y'all. Okay? So, y'all should already know where this is going. But let's continue this little article. Ciao. The name change was announced at Facebook Connect Augmented and Virtual Reality Conference. The name reflects the company's growing ambition beyond social media. Facebook, now known as Meta, has adopted the new moniker based on the sci-fi term metaverse to describe its vision for working and playing in a virtual world. Today, we are seen as a social media company, but in our DNA, we are a company that builds technology to connect people, and the metaverse is the next frontier, just like social networking when we got started. Meta CEO Mark Zuckerberg said, okay? So make no mistake about it when I keep telling you all that the economy is changing from a petrodollar over to digital / robotics / AI. And all of this is happening because we have entered the age of Aquarius, so meaning we are at a different frequency level. They have to adjust the currency, get it? Currency, movement of flow of money or the energy of money and the concept of money, they have to change that as well to match the new frequency of the planet. All right. The company also said in announcing the new name that it would change its stock ticker from Facebook to Metaverse. I guess that's what that's supposed to mean. MVRS. Effective December 1. So they trying to get theirs in, baby, before on their Gregorian calendar 2022. Meta stock price was up more than 2% on Thursday. In July, the company announced the formation of a team that would work on the metaverse. 2 months later, the company said it would elevate Andrew Boss, who is currently the head of the company's hardware division, to the role of Chief Technology Officer in 2022. And in its third quarter earning results on Monday, the company announced that it will break out Reality Labs, its hardware division, into its own reporting segment starting in the fourth quarter. Our hope is that within the next decade, the metaverse will reach 1 billion people, host hundreds of billions of dollars of digital commerce, and support jobs for millions of creators and developers, Zuckerberg wrote in a letter on Thursday. Over the past years, the company has ramped up its effort in hardware, introducing a line of portal video calling devices. Y'all seen them commercials. Launching the Ray-Ban story glasses. Remember when Google had out its own virtual reality glasses? About 5 years ago? And rolling out various versions of the Oculus virtual reality headsets. The company has indicated that augmented and virtual reality will be a key part of its strategy in the current years or the coming years. The company also said this week it'll spend about $10 billion over the next year developing the technologies required for building the metaverse. So they're literally talking about building a virtual reality. Okay. Zuckerberg on Thursday provided a demonstration of the company's ambition for the metaverse. The demo was a Pixar-like animation of software the company hopes to build someday. The demo included users hanging out in space as a cartoon-like version of themselves or fantastical characters, like a robot that represents their virtual selves. I pause because didn't they already put movies out? Ghost in the Machine and all of that jazz? Zuckerberg used part of it to accuse other tech firms of stifling innovation with high developer fees. Okay, so anybody in tech, you should know that VR is like the hottest thing. It's been that way for the last 3 years. It is hard to find VR developers in the space that's really, really good. So this is interesting. This is huge for Facebook to publicly announce and get into this space. This is bringing the VR world to the forefront of technology. Zuckerberg said a lot of this is a long way off. He lying, y'all. Trust me. Let me tell you something. Right now. This Reality Labs, baby, they done already have a slimmed down prototype of what Meta is going to be. That is why they started Reality Labs. Any company, any large company with any grain of salt has a spun-off company called labs. And those particular labs are put there to test and to go find cutting edge or to go develop cutting edge futuristic technology. I know because I worked at one. Okay? That's how I was able to know about VR, AI, machine learning, all of that jazz. And Facebook is a heck of a lot larger. What I was dibbling in. And I wasn't even doing the work. I was just managing some of those projects. So they already have it, family. Let's continue. Zuckerberg, yeah, he lying, honey. They got it. The company expects to invest many billions of dollars for years to come before the metaverse reaches scale, Zuckerberg added. Okay? So they'll probably do it in 5 years. Let's say 5 to 7 years. We believe the metaverse will be the successor to the mobile internet. Are y'all catching this? Are you catching this? So those mobile apps, they finna become obsolete. People are gonna have to level up to the virtual reality world. Pay attention. We believe the metaverse will be the successor to the mobile internet. Additionally, Meta announced a new virtual reality headset named Project Cambria. The device will be a high-end product available at a higher price point than the $299 Quest 2 headset, the company said in a blog post. Project Cambria will be released next year, Zuckerberg said. Meta also announced the code name of its first fully AR-capable smart glasses, Project I don't know if it's Nazari or Nazir. The glasses are still a few years out. Remember when Google had its glasses out? That was the first prototype. The company said in a blog post. Zuckerberg said, "We still have a ways to go with Nazir, but we're making good progress." So the little movie that just came out where the dude was in the video game. Dang, I can't think of the name of it. I know y'all know what I'm talking about. He was in the video game. He was one of the players in the video game, and he was a non-participant character or non-playable character NPC. And he became aware of the game itself and his role in the game as an NPC. But they were showing you the glasses, the associated VR glasses. And they were showing you that total virtual reality game world. See, none of this stuff is a coincidence, family. When they're putting this stuff out in movies over the years, they're literally giving you what the future technology is going to be. Okay? All right? So I hate to say no, I don't hate to say, but I told y'all it was coming. I told y'all it was coming. And I told you by 2022. All right. So the rebranding comes amid a barrage of news reports over the past month after Frances Hagen, a former employee turned whistleblower, released a trove of internal company documents to news outlets, lawmakers, and regulators. The reports show that the company is aware of the many harms its apps and services cause, but either doesn't rectify the issue or struggles to address them. More documents are expected to be shared daily over the coming weeks. In a call with analysts on Monday, Zuckerberg vehemently refuted the claims and critiques it in the report stemming from the documents provided by the whistleblower. Okay, or Hagen. So again, this is from CNBC. Facebook changes company name to Meta. We're going to go over real quick what Meta means. But virtual reality and AI is here, family. Now, they sitting up here talking about the addiction of social media. Do you all understand how virtual reality would be even more addictive to me than social media? Anybody that's worn VR glasses, and I've had the opportunity to do it, once you put them bad boys on, it connects to the senses in your brain and your consciousness, and you really think that crap is real. So hell, what's more addictive than that? We're literally talking about merging consciousness with a virtual reality world. Okay? So let's go over what metadata means so you can understand that there's meaning behind that name. So metadata is data that provides information about other data, but not the content of the data, such as text of a message or the image itself. There are many distinct types of metadata, including descriptive metadata, structural metadata, administrative metadata, reference metadata, statistical metadata, legal metadata. So basically, metadata is any part or piece of the data that you can possibly think of. Okay? And we're just gonna do a little history here. Metadata has various purposes. It can help users find relevant information to discover resources. It can also help organize electronic resources, provide digital identification, and archive and preserve resources. Facebook was already tagging data, family. Google them already tags metadata. They already tag this data. When we say tag, we really mean putting it in categories as metadata. They already doing this, family, all of them. Metadata allows users to access resources through allowing resources to be found by relevant criteria, identifying resources, bringing similar resources together, discussing dissimilar resources, and giving location information. That's really part of what the whistleblower, they're up in a stink now with what Facebook is doing. Metadata of telecommunications activities include internet traffic, is very widely collected by various, by various who? national government organizations. This data is used for the purposes of traffic analysis and can be used for mass surveillance. So now, you think it's an accident that Facebook renamed itself Meta after it was supposedly whistleblowed on from how it is storing their data, how it uses the data? That was just one part of the whistleblowing. You think that this is an accident? No. They stay telling you what they're doing in plain sight. Metadata was traditionally used in the card catalogs of libraries until the 1980s, when libraries converted their catalog data to digital databases. In the 2000s, as data information were increasingly stored digitally, the digital data was described using metadata data standards. The first description of metadata for computer systems is purportedly noted by MIT Center for International Studies expert David Greifel and Stuart McIntosh in 1976. In summary, then, we have a statement in an object language about subject's description of data and tokens codes for the data. We also have statements in a meta language describing the data relationships and transformation, and ought is relationship between norm and data. So they're basically, just in layman terms, they're just telling you that they know how to place tags or labels on data, and kind of how to relate data to each other based on those tags. That's all they're saying. Okay, let me see if anything else is good here. Oh, I do want to do this. For example, a web page may include metadata specifying what software language the page is written in, example, HTML, what tools were used to create it, what subject the page is about, and where to find more information about the subject. Okay, that's a perfect example of metadata. The metadata can automatically improve the reader's experience and can make it easier for users to find the page online. A CD may include metadata providing information about the musicians, singer, and songwriters who appears on the disc. In many countries, government organizations routinely store metadata about emails, telephone calls, web pages, and video traffic, IP connection, and cell phone locations. Metadata means data about data. Although the meta prefix means after or beyond, it is also used to mean about. In epistemology, metadata is defined as the data providing information about one or more aspects of the data. It is used to summarize basic information about data, which can make tracking and working with specific data easier. Some examples include means of creation of the data, purpose of the data, time and date of creation, creator or author of the data, location on a computer network where the data was created, standards used, file size, data quality, source of the data, process used to create the data. All right, so I'm not going to go on about this. I did just want to put you all up on some game that even the name change that Facebook is using, Meta, it means something. Okay? So metaverse, strictly dataverse across multiverses or universes, going to augmented reality. Okay. So there you have it, family. Facebook has officially ushered in the world of AI. Well, I take that back. Elon Musk ushered in the world of artificial intelligence. Facebook has officially ushered in the world of virtual reality. This is the new economy, family. Each one of the predictions that I have made for years now are coming to fruition. Now, next up is the implementation of digital currency via the governments, and it's coming. So, with that said, family, I did want to bring this to you. I hope you all are well. This is Rhonda with WTUZ Radio Podcast. Peace and love, family.